Testing. Lovely. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Another video, equally as boring as the rest. But an important video that I want to make, and if 10, 20 people see it, I'm more than happy. Today we're going to talk about trauma and the biggest misconception people have about it when it comes to how to deal with it and how to rise above, get past any historic trauma you may have. Now, if I'm to tell you that I have trust issues, that I've been betrayed time and time again, so when I start talking to a new woman, and she tells me she wants all the same things I do, I struggle to believe that, because I've heard it all before, and the people that told me what I wanted to hear then turned out to be lying. So in my life, maybe 60%, call it 90% maybe, of the people who have told me what I wanted to hear didn't mean it and they were lying. How am I expected to believe, trust the next person that makes such a promise? Now, when I lay it out like that, you would surely see how that would be difficult. But a lot of people would say, oh, well, you just have to. You just have to, These trust issues you've got, they're yours. You need to work through them. You're not ready for a relationship until you work through your issues. If you are someone with issues that cause relationships that otherwise would have been good to go down the drain, then you probably will have heard that before. Maybe your friends, your family, maybe you've seen a counsellor. Maybe they've said those words to you. And I'm here to dispel that, to call bullshit on this notion of having to teach yourself that what life has taught you time and time again over the course of your entire life, yourself, that you have to teach yourself that it was wrong. I'm here to dispel that, right? Now I'm going to show you my screen. I'm going to do a little Google search. Here we go. So I'm here to talk about a thing called Corrective Experience. And now, you know what, before I look at Google, I want to put it in my own words, and then we'll cross-reference. Now, look, and I know a lot of you watching will have your own issue that isn't quite true, but it's what life has taught you over the years. For me, it might be that that people are going to lie, or, that everyone is selfish. They don't really care about how I feel. If they act like they do, it's only because it's in their interest to pretend they do in the moment, right? For you, it might be, that you're secretly ugly. You might feel like you're ugly despite people calling you an idiot whenever you tell them you're ugly, right? That could be yours. But it could be any of these unconscious biases we have, these misconceptions that we know if we use our brain aren't true, but in our heart we feel like they are. How did we get to this conclusion? Right? If I believe I'm ugly, how did I get there? You might say it's because you look in the mirror and see ugly. Now, I beg to differ. I am a person, genuinely me, who, if I were to look in the mirror, on some days I would think, okay, I'm an alright looking guy, and on other days I think, oh my god, what swamp did I just crawl out of? Right? If I lived in a vacuum, if I lived in a vacuum, probably wouldn't think about my looks because there's no one to compare to. But without anyone ever telling me I looked a certain way or not, That's what I would think. A very average looking guy who has some bad days where he's very much below average. But if I factor in what people tell me, and less than what people tell me, how people treat me in terms of my looks, I understand that actually I'm a lot better looking than I thought. And that is because, I've had more female attention over the years than someone who was average looking or ugly would expect. Frankly, no one's ever called me ugly, though there will be comments on this video, of course. So I use these experiences to quiet what goes on in my head and tell me that actually I'm a perfectly decent looking guy. Right? That is what you would call a corrective experience, where I feel like I'm ugly, but through interactions with people, I learn the truth. That's a corrective experience, right? Because the way I thought about myself was wrong, and these experiences corrected it. Now, of course, a lot of our trauma comes from, I don't know what you would call the opposite, incorrective, decorrective experiences, misleading experience, sure. Maybe you had a parent or two who were very unhappy with themselves, and maybe they stupidly think that, their life went downhill the second you were born, and so they blame you and they treat you as the physical embodiment of everything that's gone wrong in their lives, and so they shout at you, tell you you're never good enough. This misleading experience is going to cause you to grow up feeling like you are worthless and not good enough, right? And how would that affect you in friendships and relationships and work life? Well, it would cause you to be very insecure. It would go one way or the other. You'd either work really hard, harder than you have to ensure that you could one day be good enough to deserve the promotion, to deserve the boyfriend or girlfriend, to deserve your best friend who you've known for years, right? Or it could cause you to give up because no matter how hard you try, your mum or your dad still thinks you're worthless, and who knows you better than your mum or dad, right? I reckon some of you probably relating to that. And people would tell you, oh, you need to get over this. You need to understand, you're more than what your mum or dad think of you. You decide how good you are. And this is all true. But their expectation is that you go away, you do some research, you spend some time on your own, maybe you get something nice to eat, you treat yourself nicely, and magically, just from logically understanding the truth, you're going to start to know the truth in your heart and act secure, like someone who knows they're good enough intrinsically without thinking about it. Like someone who doesn't have to go on the Notes app and read their positive affirmations. It just doesn't work like that. But it can work like that if you have these positive corrective experiences. Maybe you spend a lot of time with your friends who big you up for every little thing. They celebrate you for, maybe you walked over to their house instead of getting an Uber, and they say, hey, yo, good on you for walking. That's good. Caring about the environment and that, and that's exercise for you. If they do that sort of every day, and it takes a lot, because it took a lot. It took a lot to get you to have these issues in the first place. It's going to take a lot to fix them, right? Which is why these positive correctional experiences are rare, and we are encouraged to kind of do it ourselves, right? Study the theory so that our brain understands how a healthy, secure person should act, and we can act like that while still feeling worthless on the inside. The way to cure that worth is through these experiences. And, I suppose we should end this on a positive note. What can you do to have more of these experiences? And what you can do is, spend more time with people who make you feel good about yourself. Spend less time with people who make you feel bad about yourself. And these are simple things. And you have to pay attention, Who's a good influence in my life, or what's a good influence in my life? I have in the background a PlayStation. Is playing that having a good effect on my life? Is it making me see the world positively? Perhaps if I play a game that I'm good at and I play in competitive and my rank goes up, that's a positive correctional experience. A very small one, not nearly enough on its own, but it's a video game telling me I'm above average, right? All these things will help. You can seek out these experiences. And in the same way, maybe if I'm bad at FIFA, I should not play FIFA much or at all, because when I get done playing, I feel like I'm worthless again. I wouldn't attribute my self-worth to FIFA, but stuff like that's easier said than done, right? But this is the stuff you can do to try and heal your wounded inner child. And it's needed, because without these experiences, making you forget the negative, truths that you learned about yourself, and replace them with the positive truth, the reality of it, it is very difficult, takes loads of work. The positive is most people watching this video will be young, right? And if this, yappa voice you've got in the back of your head telling you you're a piece of shit is so loud and so powerful, after, how long did it take for that voice to get there? And how many years have you got left, in theory, of your life to make it go away? That's plenty of time. It can be done. And hopefully you have people that will want to help you with this. If so, you can send them this video, or just Google positive correctional experiences, and hopefully they'll be interested in helping you with some of those. And I'm sure you could do the same for them, right? Because everyone's got their demons. But this is difficult, which is why everyone recommends doing it on your own, right? Googling stuff, how to deal with attachment issues, how to be less avoidant, right? All of this stuff, you Google it and you try and do what it says on there. And that is the second best thing. It's worth doing. Because if I'm to talk about me, I'm a person who, on the inside, has very, very low self-worth. Very low. And this, for me, comes from not being treated like I was very important. From when I was young to in my relationships I've had as an adult, right? So internally, I'm a man who doesn't feel like he has much self-worth at all, right? But without me saying that, very few people would tell you that about me. And that is because I understand the truth is that I am worth just as much as the next man. No more and no less, right? And if someone treats you like you are worthless, that is entirely to do with them and nothing to do with you. This is stuff I know, right? If I'm to write a quiz, or if I'm to take a test that tells me how highly I value myself, it tells me if I've got low self-worth or not, that quiz will come back saying, no, you have a healthy view of yourself, you know exactly how much you are valued. I will pass the test because I know how to act. And when I have time, like this, in the comfort of my own home, to sit down and discuss it, I know the truth. but it's those split-second moments when you've had an argument with someone you love, and or maybe someone is not taking into account your feelings, and if it's in the moment, you haven't got time to think about it, they're the moments where maybe I'll give in and say, oh, silly me, who was I to think that how I felt would matter here, right? And then I'll go away and think about it and realize the truth. So you can get halfway there without these positive correctional experiences. But if you want to go the whole hog, the whole mile, if you truly want to feel better instead of just acting better, you need these positive correctional experiences, and you need people to help you with that. So good luck finding them. I'm still looking. Drop me a comment. I'm happy to help you with some of these experiences, because you all have the worth to me. You're all equal. Some of you might say horrible things in my comments, but you are truly just as valued a human being as the rest of us. So leave a like if you enjoyed. Please dislike if you think I'm chatting shit. I think I might have talked for a while in this video. I'm still figuring out how to make good videos. Leave a comment with any thoughts, any feedback. But thank you for watching, and at the very least, I care about you. See you later.